This is On Target Institute, building men of character, men who will live a life that demands an explanation. And now, founder and president, Vince Dacchioli.
Hello again, and welcome back to our OTI Leadership Training session number 8, dealing with group dynamics. In our last session, you remember, we dealt with the talker. In this next section, we're going to be dealing with the silent guy. Let's look in. Now, let's move on to our next role player. I've just asked the same question, and now we have someone at the table, and Gentry's going to play this role, that is the silent guy. The guy that is very difficult to draw out, and the guy who's listening. Now keep in mind, I'm sorry, Craig, that's right. Craig, you're going to be the silent guy. I had Gentry's name written there, and we're going to switch roles here. Craig is the silent guy, and sometimes when guys are very quiet, it isn't necessarily that they're shy. Some guys just really listen very intensely. And then when they do say something, have you ever noticed that guys like that? When they do something, they've assimilated all this stuff, and everybody's flying around the table with different things, and all of a sudden, this guy lands a jewel on the table, man, and it's just incredible. But there are other times when a guy is just shy. He doesn't like entering in. He's giving himself to this process. He's not too sure about it, not too sure about you guys. He's just kind of listening in, and Craig is going to play that kind of guy. So we've been having some discussion along the way, and Basil here just finished going through his monologue, and so instead of deflecting it to Danny, Basil said he had some experience in college, was it, where you felt like a failure? And I say, Danny, have you ever felt like a failure? Or Craig, I'm sorry. Yeah. Craig, have you ever felt? Really? Yeah. Does it make you feel bad when you feel like a failure?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. When you feel like you're accomplishing something, though, it probably really pumps you up. Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. And see, what am I doing here? What am I doing? No. What am I doing? What's wrong with what I'm doing? I'm asking yes. Right. I'm asking yes or no questions. But now, if I begin to move it further along the way, Craig, in your whole life, have there been times when you have kind of felt like you didn't measure up or didn't feel like like you were doing a good job?
Yeah, I guess in my early teens.
In your early teens. During that time, were you working at that time? And kind of describe that feeling a little bit. What happened, and how did you enter into that?
It was a summer job, and they pulled me off one task, and I thought I was doing a very good job at it. But when they pulled me off and put me on something else, I thought maybe I was doing something wrong, and it really made me feel bad.
It really devastated you, and there was no one to talk to about it at that time, or?
No, not really at all.
Yeah, and see, now what I can do is I can begin to engage him a little bit more. Someone else in the group Gentry might say something like, well, boy, that happened to me too, and I'll try to pull him out, and we'll go a little bit deeper. But the thing is, you want to ask questions that will not allow a yes or no answer. And you just keep probing until you get there. Now, there's something else that you can do in this situation as well. Now, you explained that, how were you able to get satisfied through that experience? Did you ever reach a point where you felt like you could let that go? And if so, how did that happen?
Well, I wound up getting a better job, and wound up being complimented by my superior in that job, so I felt that I was okay.
So you were able to let go of the
Yes.
of the prior things because you now felt good because someone was complimenting you?
Correct.
Yeah. By the way, Craig, that's an excellent illustration that points us toward the need to find security somewhere. Now, in this case, you found it with another employer, but ultimately, where do we want to find our real security is with God. But that's an excellent example. Now, what have I just done? Affirmation. Find something that you can compliment. With a quiet guy, you always need to find something that you can compliment, because quiet guys are very introspective, and they're always searching. They'll sometimes hang on words more than they should. And by complimenting him, what am I doing? I'm encouraging him to what? Maybe want to keep talking, or the next time not be as likely to be as quiet, because this group appreciates me. I mean, this feels pretty comfortable. Does anybody else have another suggestion or idea where you've dealt with guys that are very quiet? What are some other techniques? Way in the back, if you could just point the mic back there.
Have them read a scripture. Say, hey, could you look up this verse for me?
Excellent idea. Excellent idea. Okay, could someone, and maybe you've got a scripture that comes to your mind about this issue. Hey, Craig, could you look up Philippians 3:13 and 14 for me? And then he starts looking up Philippians 3:13 and 14. You're having a discussion, and then maybe at the appropriate time, I say, could you read that for me? Well, this is where Paul says, hey, brothers, I haven't arrived, but one thing I do, forgetting what is behind, remember that? And straining toward what is ahead, the whole idea of letting go of the past. And so in a way, what I've just had him do is put an exclamation point on this part of the thing, and now he feels really great. It wasn't necessarily his idea, but he is the one reading it, and he feels really great about himself. Excellent way. Anybody else?
Just a caution. Some people, and certainly once you get to know your group, you'll know, but some people aren't real comfortable reading out loud.
Yeah, that's true.
Others may not know where Philippians is in the Bible,
Yeah.
if they're new.
Yeah. You have to be careful of that. That's very true. Some people are a little awkward at reading out loud, or they may not know where a particular verse is. Now, what you could do, another way to handle that is, what would you do?
Hand it to them.
You hand it to them. That could take away one of the things. Or the other part of that, what I'm getting from you, Mike, the other part of that is to know the guy first. A little bit. Don't try to rush, especially if it's a new guy at the table, you don't know too much about him. Sometimes a guy may be quiet or introverted. There may be a medical problem. There may be something going on there. There may be some handicap you don't know about, and you could really embarrass the guy. So you don't ever want to do any of this stuff early on with a quiet guy. Give him time to engage a little bit, get to know where he is, kid around with him a little bit so that you can feel comfortable doing. Excellent, Mike. That's an excellent.
I did that, Vincent. Man was dyslexic, and I didn't know that.
Yep, that can happen. I've had that happen.
It was embarrassing.
Yeah.
And he was the president of a mortgage company, so I never anticipated he couldn't read.
Right. So you do have to be careful with that. But there are ways, again, as a facilitator, see, these are the things you have to think about. But you don't want to rush it. Yes, Mike, right here.
I have a question. I noticed that his arms are crossed, and I'm wondering how much weight do we give to body language such as that?
Good question. There are a lot of nonverbals that you can pick up from guys around a table. And typically, I don't want to go into this whole group psychology thing, but there's a lot to this. You can tell a lot about a person by his mannerisms at the table. And when a guy crosses his arms like that, in fact, I don't know, Craig, if you're doing it to play the role or if this is naturally you, when a guy crosses his arms like that you are talking to a guy, what's he doing? He's protecting himself. He's putting something out in front of him. There are some visible signs there. So if you see guys in your group do stuff, it's a little signal. Not always, but sometimes it's a little bit of a signal that you need to pick up on. What are some other body language stuff that you can pick up on?
Well, he's sitting back from the table.
Okay. But not with just him, but with anybody in any group dynamic. What are some other things you've seen in groups that you can pick up their body language?
Leaning forward would be.
Yeah, leaning forward, waiting for a chance to get in. No, go ahead, do that again, Danny. No, he's obviously looking for a way to get in. So one way he wants to interrupt me is he wants to put his face right in front of me and let me know that, hey, he has something to say, and he wants to get involved.
Another thing, Vince, is just showing interest in somebody who may be just doing my character, just leaning forward and listening with a little bit more of intent.
Excellent.
Can sometimes draw a person out because you have a better connection.
That's right. For a guy who's a quiet type, just making sure that, and by the way, anytime anybody at your table is talking, what do? You look into his eyes. Never look away. You look right, you're doing two things. You're letting him know how interested you are. You're hearing him at a deeper level. Okay, and you also have a much better opportunity to send nonverbal communication to that guy than you do if you're looking elsewhere. Because if I'm looking into his eyes, and all of a sudden I look at my notes and I begin to approach him in a way that where he knows I'm trying to break in, it may be time, especially if it's a guy that's talking a lot, where he needs to maybe slow down. There are lots of things you can do when you engage them by looking right into their eyes. And by the way, this is no place is this more true, guys, than when we're talking to our wives, is it? But the other thing is you want to be very careful not to allow crosstalk. We're not going to role play that, but let's assume I'm listening to Craig here, and then all of a sudden these two guys start a conversation. Okay, what do? You say, okay, hey guys, hey, time out. Listen, Craig, hang on just a second. I know you've got something really important to say, but guys, let's all be on the same page here just for a minute. I want to hear what he has to say, and I need you guys to help me out here. Let's see if we can get right into this issue. Engage them. Don't be discourteous. Don't say, hey guys, you're really messing up the meeting. Now, if it's a habitual thing, again, what do?
Hey guys, you're missing
You take them aside later and you talk to them. Yeah, you do what?
Hey guys, you're missing up the meeting.
Yeah, you mess up the meeting, you know. But anyway, so those are some things that you can do with a guy who is a silent type. And again, the open-ended questions, congratulate them every chance you get. Listen, guys, we all need encouragement. I was doing a parenting session not too long ago, and it had to do with kids. But guys, no matter what age, you never stop being a kid. And I heard one time that the kids need to hear two things, and you can't say it often enough. I love you, and I'm proud of you. You cannot say that often enough to your kids. I love you, and I'm proud of you. Our model, God himself. This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. And we all need that. And you need to be telling, I got a friend of mine who always says, hey, you're the best. Even when I'm at my lowest, he says, you're the best. I love this guy, he's so encouraging. And after a while, if you say it often enough, guys will start to believe it, So that's what you need to be considering. Okay, again, a lot of information, guys. We've just visited with the silent. Now, as a recap, remember, ask them questions, but draw them out. Ask open-ended questions that don't just get a yes or a no response. Most important, congratulate them as much as you can every chance you get when they give you some input. Pick some stuff out that you can encourage them about, because that'll give them confidence that next time they'll enter in. So, the silent. Our next session is the one agenda guy, and I can't wait to unpack that for you. That's the guy who comes and no matter what the discussion question, and he always has the same response. So, until then, stay tuned.